The flying one. Father of 4, 54. Got divorced in 2009 after my wife had an affair, and she wasn't in a place to try to work on anything. Her head was somewhere else. I got custody of my 4 kids and raised them. 2 were 6, and the other 2 11 and 12. Shortly after I met or connected with a high school alum 2 years younger than me. I didn't know her, but I fell in love with her very slowly and cautiously. I know what people are going to say already. Boy, are you stupid, but here goes. She had told me that she had dated her husband through all of high school and college, never partied, and was the valedictorian. All true. She then told me in a roundabout, convoluted way that she got divorced because her husband worked too much and didn't have any time for her. The truth came out in pieces. She had gone away to a family reunion, his side, and her husband got drunk and went to bed early. She hung out with his cousins, etc. No mention of what went on. Next day someone has to drive a cousin to the airport, and she gets elected. Husband too hungover. They drive, have conversation, and a hug. Goodbye was not just a hug, she felt something. I already feel so damn stupid. She continues a phone relationship with him. Her husband taps the phones and hears a lot of dirty talk, and they divorce. She ends up dating him living in her house for 10 plus years with her 2 little kids a mile from her ex. Horrid story, unless you met her. So sweet, so kind, compassionate, honest. Well, maybe not. I took it very slow. I had been through an ugly divorce. Very ugly, and she both helped me and watched my ex abuse everyone. We vowed to be faithful, but not marry. I gave her a ring as a promise to stay together. Forever. She fell in love quickly. We had a great relationship for 5 years. I had dated a lot, been married, and when I say this relationship was the best, I mean by a mile. Many miles. After 5 years, she took a new job and worked over 100 hours some weeks, traveling up to 5 days a week, and the relationship cooled. But it was still great, and I knew I could always count on her. She was supposed to move in permanently but never did. Always an excuse, when this one goes to school, when that one goes, etc. She did stay over a lot, but this always bothered me. Never sold her house, changed her address, license, mail, etc. Did not move in, although she claims she did. My kids adored her, but my oldest girl started to get jealous and try to get her in trouble with me constantly. So also seemed to have issues of jealousy toward my oldest daughter as well. There was always a rub. It grew into a huge problem. So when my daughter graduated college and moved home, so left and went to her beach house an hour and a half away. Recipe for disaster. I knew it, and I predicted it. She worked a lot and I visited when I could. She rarely came home. We have been together almost 12 years now, and with the twins going off to college this past September, I believed it was our time. Finally, I asked her to go away for her birthday in Sept. She didn't want to. I thought that was very weird. She has been starting fights constantly for a few months at least, about nothing, and acting different. Less intimate, hugging, etc. I had a scheduled trip to go on this late early Nov. And what do you know? She started a giant fight right before I left. Giant, about nothing. For no reason, and about the past and decisions we made together she now resents. And she went to the meanest places she's ever gone, my ex. I was floored. She's never been a yeller but has developed this "I'm going to say the meanest crap I can when I'm upset to get you mad." She even said, "You want out of this relationship but don't have the balls to do it." I don't. I love her to the ends of the earth. That has never changed. While I was gone, all I could think about was her. I sent her messages but she never replied. She sent me an email. Weird, I need to get coats from your house. She also texted my son, my best friend's wife, my mom and another friend, when is he coming back, but never asked me. I didn't know any of this but had a serious gut instinct kick in when I was away and immediately coming home. If I'm being honest, I had some signs over the past few months and they all started eating at me. I drove from Iowa to Rye, to her house, and she said this relationship has to end. I was pretty surprised, but also not, based on the recent crazy arguments we had. I said I respect that, but I came here to look you in the eye and ask, is there another guy? Her reply, yes, but not on that level. Then she started spewing a bunch of stuff about meeting a lot of people, guys and girls, and nothing physical. Get a lie detector test. I said no need for that, just go get me your phone. Her reply, I'm not going to do that, it would break your heart. We talked for a couple hours. She screamed and yelled and deflected from the elephant in the room as much as she could. I stayed calm, and when about to leave I said, it's been 11.5 years. I think you owe me the truth about the guy. She stared into space, her eyes welled up with tears, and she said, I don't want this to be my legacy. And stopped. I said, like, because you did this before. She acted confused and started talking about a ton of other rubbish. I redirected her, and she pretended to not remember even saying it. It had been 1 minute. She asked me to leave, and I did. A day or so later she sent me a text, I did nothing wrong and I am tired of your insinuation. They are further dividing us. I said you admitted it. She is disagreeing. She did. 100%. I have been sick for weeks. I couldn't sleep or eat while I was away. I have lost 19 pounds. Had cardiac irregularities. Can't sleep. Shaking from anxiety. Just really sick. I trusted her to the ends of the earth. She won't call, text, or reply. When there has been any communication, she is trying to say I made this mistake or that, and I made some mistakes but not infidelity or stuff like that for many years, and she's angry with me. Also says I am trying to make this about a guy, and it isn't. It is about how much I suck, I guess, or what I chose to do for the kids in 2015 or something. Don't get me wrong. I have admitted and apologized for my mistakes, lack of judgment, anger, immature handling of situations, etc. I am human and I thought we were in love. Funny, she just wrote me a long email about what a great man you are a few months ago. She says she needs time to sort it out with her own therapist, and she isn't communicating with me but suddenly is reaching out to my kids and mom. Thoughts, to be honest, I am heartbroken, truly heartbroken. I trusted her, and I still love her, and I wanted our future together to the end. I can't imagine this is just how abruptly our story just ends. Way too much good and way too many years of raising kids together, trips all over the place, vacations, and the best intimacy I have ever experienced. I'm sick. I am a realistic man. I understand and respect the direct responses, and that is what I believe too. But I am looking for all opinions, and maybe personal accounts of a similar nature that went differently. This isn't going to go differently, but I'm not far removed from the shock, sickness, anxiety, palpitations, fear, and sobbing. So, in therapy this week, I told her you looked me in the eye and admitted it, twice, and let me be clear, I am not 90% sure, I am 100% sure. She sobbed and deflected and said I was 1000% wrong. She said, you want this to be about a guy. You want this to be that I'm not strong enough to leave you on my own. You're wrong. I think she is trying to buy time so when it gets found out by more people that we have been broken up for a while and it fits her narrative that she wasn't cheating and it doesn't become her legacy. She is really a sweet girl, not crappy in any way at all, easy to get along with, warm and affectionate. Our relationship went off the rails because of my daughter and fights we had about her, and there were some other things as well I own, but I thought this was forever, even just a month ago. It is her legacy and it blows my mind and breaks my heart. We promised each other we may break up but we'll never cheat. Never. She does not respect me and has gone all out, offensive, gaslighting, whatever you want to characterize it as. Certainly it is not humility, apologetic, it's all self-preservation. Worrying about her blessed reputation. I have had many discussions with my adult daughter about her behavior. I made her move out in hopes my son would move back in this past September. I was planning a wedding, picking out music, locations, and wanted to have that talk when we were to go away for her birthday. It's just so unreal to have been so duped. I wish I knew how long this has been going on. I will find out, but it's going to take some work. Yes, I want to know for me. I just can't stop thinking how shocked I am. I will never get over this blindside. That bothers me because she can move on, but I, who had trust issues to begin with, feel like I will never find a suitable partner again. And I'm not 30, fit, attractive, financially in a good spot, but I don't ever want to start dating again. Too much BS for me. For most of our relationship she was sweet and warm and kind. That has all changed over the past year or so. Maybe this kind of crap has been going on for longer or with more people than I know. She was so theatrical in the therapy session last week I found it embarrassing for her. Dramatic voice the entire time, giving bits of history with no context meant to make me look bad, sobbing. It was awful, and a great percentage of it was simply untrue or stated in such a one-sided way that the counselor would think it was true. I would like to know if anyone had a so get emotionally involved, F up their relationship, get crazy midlife type of nuts and reel it back in and save the sinking ship. All sorts of scenarios are possible, and I hear you, this is pretty far-fetched. I think we all know what happened. Yes, I was looking for some dissenting opinions, if any. If not, I completely understand. I made some choices that seemed clear at the time. My oldest son doesn't speak to my daughter because of what he saw her do to the people he cared about for years. I pushed her to move out after paying for college, and 2 years of her applying, and getting into grad school and deciding not to go. I got custody of 4 little kids and did my best to raise them every single day. There's no manual. I made decisions I thought were in everyone's best interest, except usually mine. She was tough to everyone, and had something going on, I believe BPD. Why was it the best relationship I ever had? I have never felt more loved. Things just flowed. She was not high maintenance, just the opposite. She did unexpected nice things all the time. She gave a hug that could change your life. She came to my room every morning to lay on top of me naked, just to be close for a few minutes. I felt she would have taken a bullet for my kids. She was interested in everything I did. She loves dogs. She's humble. We had many friends in common. We went to the same high school. She looked at me like no one ever has. She held my hand. She was thoughtful and could express herself. She was cute, silly, dirty as hell. We connected physically like in a spiritual way I have never experienced before. She took care of me when I had surgery or got sick. She added a woman's touch around my home. She planned parties and events. She was a good cook and a selfless partner. She was so easy to travel with but didn't expect you to do all the work. We visited many countries and God, I just love her. Why go on? I am emotional now. I don't know how to deal with each day. I can't eat or breathe and often cry. This is what makes it just impossible to believe she just went and started a new relationship. pulled the rug out from under the guy she promised to choose today and every day her words. I had 3 other kids in the household with far different experiences. They all grew to love her deeply. There was never a sign of any type of aggression or violence, except from my oldest girl toward everyone else. I have told one friend and blown his mind, but I will tell my other close friends as time passes. My son is probably going to get mad at me for the truth, and he trusts her implicitly and she's lying. No idea how to handle that. I don't want to hurt him and I don't want her to lie to him. Life is hard and the kid has been through enough. My wish would be that he would think on it for a long time, and point blank tell her, you watched my grandfather do this, you saw what I went through with my own mom and I trusted you. She will lie, but I never lie to my kids. I would have no reason to tell them something untruthful that I know will hurt them. I love my boy way too much. 2. We have been doing better, both working at this. I told her about so and she apologized for her part in that, but the catch-22 is when I do better with her, my son gets mad, says I'm rewarding her bad behavior again, mad about 20 years of my decisions. So hard to get it right, honestly. I love them all. 3. Getting therapy a lot right now. Not sure how I get my picker fixed. I really thought I had this one nailed down as nearly perfect for the duration. I am far from a pushover. I have tried to respect everyone's position in this mess that was created when I divorced. It wasn't my kids' fault and I tried to give them the best. I hold anger and suppress it fairly often and fairly well, but when I am attacked, I just shut down because I am afraid to inappropriately blow up. If you keep pushing, like the so had been doing to try to get me to blow up and break up with her, I often can't help myself. I work on it every day and think I manage well 99% of the time. Better to be alone than with someone who makes you feel alone, is well said. She was away. She moved away. I begged for us to close the distance, buy or build our house together. I have told her I'm lonely for years. No changes. She may have had another life. Shut me off the security cam access and told me I don't give her enough notice when I'm coming to see her. Weird. Like calling your wife and saying just want to give you a heads up I'm coming home. 4. Impossible to even think of right now. Hard to get off the couch, and if it were up to me, I'd sleep for a month. Dreading Thanksgiving. I am pretty beaten down. I have lost 19 pounds since October 4th. I am not okay physically or emotionally. Can't process this yet, and I'm not much of a cook. The other problem here is my ex-W has a big family, and they will certainly be doing something big, assuming without my son. That leaves me and him. My mom just had surgery. Used to be so and her kids and mom and an occasional kid's friend. Prior to my parents' divorce in 2005 it was 40+ people. My kids have been through a lot of difficult changes. Took it slow, had a lot of common friends, went to HS together. Most people didn't know about her divorce, maybe no I'm aware of, but it is a fact. I thought she learned a lot from it. She said she learned that she could never cause that much pain again. She seemed to have learned enough anyways, and people do stupid things. I forgave her, but here I am. I definitely did not make guard. Too torn between going to see her and being a dad. And I believe in freedom in relationships, but this amount of distance and the irregularity with which we saw each other was always on my mind, especially because I had been cheated on before. Would definitely do that differently today. Break your heart is all I can think about. I just can't wrap my head around this. Can barely walk around, I'm so weak. Confused often, tired but can't sleep, shaky. I'm usually outdoors every day in November but can't get off the couch, and if it weren't for my dogs I'd be in bed. Down 20 but hasn't been that long, and I only started at 178. When I originally got divorced I was 192 and lost 24. Worked hard to keep it off and changed my workouts. Unfortunate I have an injured neck and shoulder right now, or workouts would be the plan to bring me back from hell. I can't work out. One thing that keeps ringing in my head is how long until I feel normal? And will I ever trust again? And how long until I date anyone? I don't know. It's depressing to think I will never look into someone's eyes and trust them with my soul again. This is the third big betrayal if I count what happened to me in high school, which was awful. I know no one can provide a timeline, but I sure wish they could. I can get through anything if I know how long I have to buckle up for. I am still in shock and still want to believe some couples therapy and hard work will right this ship before it sinks. I want to believe she hasn't gone too far emotionally. I know both of these things are unlikely, but I just can't give up on her. It's been 9 days since I found out. About 6 to 8 weeks since I had reason to suspect. Still can't process. I have periods of strength and acceptance and a firm feeling of the need to close the book and not look back. But it happened so fast I feel like I have no closure, not all the facts, or at least not enough, and that's bad for the way my brain functions. She is admitting to going out and having new friends, admitted there is a guy but not on that level on the first day when I asked. Since the first day's admissions, she has denied any involvement with a guy whatsoever, and in our counseling appointment, 2 times went pretty hard on there is no guy. Clearly, she has a safety net and someone, people talking in her ear. She never did this to me before, as in will not answer a call, meet, and will answer a text sometimes but only after several hours. I hadn't texted her in over a week until yesterday. I haven't called her in over a week. I have asked her to meet via text that she never answered. She agreed to couples therapy. I set a date and now she is waffling a little bit saying she wants to get with her therapist first. Problem there, as I see it, is she will more than likely say the same things to this woman that she recently has to her friends and in our therapy session, creating a fictitious past and making things that were off a little bit look like she was with Hitler himself. We had some issues, most I would consider minor. I did not see this coming. But you already knew that. She stopped traveling a few years ago, but the hours never lessen. She's up every day at 3:30 a.m. or 4 if she was lazy. Used to drive me nuts. Now she's closing bars and sleeping to 7. Try being woken up every day at 3:30 to 4, then again after she worked out at 5:30. When I complained I was a jerk, but I used to say not many people could deal with that. Am I wrong? She'd also go to bed by 8 or if we were lucky 9, and she'd be upset that I didn't come lay with her for at least a little bit before she fell asleep. My kids were doing stuff, and if I laid down, I'd fall asleep and miss what they were doing. Work still 80 hours a week, and calls and emails almost always take up significant parts of the weekend. The job was the beginning of the end for sure. I begged her to quit, change etc. Said I would pay any difference in salary. She is caught up in the titles and rhetoric of that's not a heavy lift and all this stupid jargon that makes smart people look really dumb. But she feels important, which is good, but at what sacrifice? She barely saw her kids and manages to blame spending time with mine for that. I always told her priorities get to your house. The stalling, or as it you said wobbly, made me nuts. I guarantee when I do recover that I could get a woman to live in this house in short order. Or marry me. But she won't be a cheater. The house, it is one of the nicest houses in my town. 8 acres, full gym. She paid $0 for anything too. And we are all easy to live with most of the time. We really never had any issues. When I found out about the cousin, I was literally sick for weeks. I questioned my own sanity several times a day for a while. She seemed so remorseful that it almost seemed as if she'd take her own life before cheating again. She seemed like a young lady that had worn the scarlet letter and learned more than most. It was forgiveness or move on. Perhaps I chose wrong. The selfish, cruel streak has returned. And as bad as it sounds, I'm still in love, but I am working every day to pull my head out of my bottom. And you guys are an immense help. No sugar-coated BS. I am still squarely in disbelief, and the fact that she went off in therapy and swore up and down she isn't seeing someone, although I believe zero of that charade, still screws me up and makes me feel the need to ask her question. And she isn't talking to me. Strangest thing ever, just cut off. So frustrating and mean as hell. I even told her I'd pay her salary every year to not work, and she makes a lot of money. I just wanted US. Limbo land is the most difficult place to live. Give me facts, give me reasons, give me anything concrete so I can move on. She is not living with me. Moved out 18 months ago because my daughter was causing her so much anxiety that she was very sick, lost 30 pounds. I have never seen someone look so close to their end. She probably weighed 85 pounds and you could see every bone. She hooked up with a 70-year-old surgeon who has the largest oceanfront estate in her Rye community. She thinks I'm stupid, and she thinks everyone else is too. This relationship is not what she wants. She is a hometown girl, likes simplicity, getting her hands dirty, and doesn't like fake people. She's going to cocktail parties, hanging with rich snobs, and feels super important right now. It won't make her truly happy in the end. Makes me sick. No one you know stands up for themselves more than I do. It is how I am wired. I don't tolerate BS from anyone. I am not even a fan of TV or movies, never was. But there is something to religion and what you are taught about respect and truth that I believe more people should respect. She didn't, and yes, it is here breaking, and yes, I have cried like a woman and I'm not at all afraid to admit it. Men cry too. This wasn't an easy loss and not something I saw coming, like this anyways. So, you don't need to read my posts, you don't need to make fun of me. I am in the lowest spot I've ever been in with no roadmap to navigate it. Most of the people on here have shared thoughts and experiences that have shed light and been helpful. My daughter always came first. That changed when my daughter started causing problems with all of my other kids and those relationships started to get strained. My son moved out because of it, and my younger kids asked me to have her move out, but my GF had already hit the road. I never said I want any woman. I don't want anyone right now. I have always been fine living alone. This time period of my life is different because my two youngest just left for college and my GF left soon after unexpectedly. It left me unexpectedly alone and in a rough spot. One knows I can get through eventually. I think most would feel some sense of WTF. I cook, I clean, I do laundry, I'm totally self-reliant and just started looking for jobs and volunteer work. I am retired, and I do limit working out because of a neck injury. I have taken a break from working out because some things were acting up. I do need a vacation. I just need to get in a better headspace before I go. Maybe January or February. I do see a therapist. I do need to get my power back. I'm just not sure how to do that. I spent 12 years with a woman with no marriage and no plan for marriage. Although I wanted to plan it for 2022, it didn't work out. I met a girl that was from my hometown, who knew my friends and I knew hers. We raised our kids together like a machine, and I felt like at some point we each got ourselves back after our divorces and had a great life with a very normal, loving relationship. She was a critical part of raising my kids, and they did and do love her. I thought that was forever, and this breakup is not just about me. If it was, it would be much simpler. I feel like my first marriage failed, and the kids suffered greatly. I always told them if this relationship ends, it will not end ugly because we vowed no matter what it would not be cheating because of the pain we had each lived individually. It makes me sick to think the kids will have another loss at the hands of a selfish W. It's huge to me, and where most of my angst and sadness come from. I don't know what to tell them, and I'm afraid that she will lie to them. I'm not sure. I remember saying I want to get her back at all costs. I'm in a tough spot here trying to navigate it and concerned about my kids. She didn't admit screwing another dude, and I didn't see it. I do believe wholeheartedly that she did. I wanted her, and I wanted her forever. Our lives were pretty linked. I don't want her again unless she takes a lie detector test and wasn't doing what you've said and what I believe. Tough road to navigate with emotions this high, and I'm doing the best I can. I will turn the switch to off fairly soon, and when I do it doesn't turn back. I was hoping to get some answers, and to tell her how I feel and walk away with what little self-respect I have left. I think the best place for that is in a therapy place where A, she will feel comfortable, B, she might be pressed by a counselor, and C, I can unload what I have to unload without her hanging up, driving away, or leaving, and be done. She needs to know what she did and how it impacts me and all of the rest of the people she claims she loves, including my kids, my mom, and her own kids. Once a cheater, always a cheater. I am absolutely not willing to just look the other way. Why did she admit to cheating? When I first asked her, I think it caught her off guard. She admitted it. A day or so later she texted me, I did nothing wrong. Your accusations are further dividing us, to which I replied, you admitted it. Twice she's taking a hardline stance that she didn't, and she did say some lie detector nonsense before I asked to see her phone, which she said no, that would break your heart. I have been in contact with her very little, almost none for a week, but some recent texts that she has just been unreasonable about. She's clearly with another guy but doesn't want it to come out until it looks respectable for her. She is buying time, putting me off as much as possible, so when she spills the beans, it just happened we have been broken up. Pretty easy to see but not easy to live with. She has put me in limbo. I want some answers. I don't need answers about did you screw around or whatever. She is an adult. I am sure she's not playing Monopoly. I need answers to yes, I am with someone else, and yes, this is over from her. I want to hear it, right or wrong. I am sure many have different opinions, but this is what I want. My comment: why is she denying the affair? Is it because of guilt, shame, or something else? We will find out more in the final ending tomorrow. Make sure to sub and check out the recent uploads. And stay safe in your relationships.